All right. Hey guys, just want to do hopefully a quick video, but I saw this today while I was eating some food. I just tuned in, happened to see this round, and thought it was just amazing. In the past I've tried to find a lot of info on like how to drone entries in and how far entries should be from the drone, stuff like that. There's not too much footage to cover that. So this was like phenomenal by the droner and the Ash here. So I'll let it play through the first time, and then we'll come back and break it apart.
Off trades. A great start here.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. He's you bring him in to do the entry, and he has done exactly that. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying before as well about the fact that he has been involved in a lot of the opening engagements in this game overall, which of course you would be looking for if he's playing Ash, but just particularly and getting rid of the pest as well to help along the drone. But now he gets some gunfire in his face, and he's going to be pushing forward. He does have the support of his team. There's the great kill onto Lender as he tries to descend down the main stairs, and straight up 2 kills from MIBR, both of which have come from their new player.
Whoever is drone in this is an absolute machine.
Yeah, I want you on my team.
I mean, that drone has stayed alive. It's pinged every single piece of utility. I think it's still going. It can't be the same one at this point, because that drone has done a hell of a lot of work.
The drone needs to be the MVP of this game. And you mentioned Ash being a utility clearing operator. I mean, I guess the R4C counts as utility clearing in this game. You don't even need to whip out your actual utility.
Alright, so as you can see, that was just outstanding. This is probably more for T3 teams, maybe some lower T2 teams, I don't know, but definitely T3. So we'll go back and we'll break this apart real quick so you guys can kind of see what to look for and what's going on. So
making it work.
Turn off the volume for this part. And the other thing is, obviously this was so good that not only did the casters, you know, touch on it so much, but the spectator stayed on this so that people could see, because it's not often when you're watching Pro League like this that you get to see the minor tasks, I guess you could say, of like droning, for example. You don't get to see too much of that. It's always trying to overview or watch gunfights, but this was really cool to see. Alright, so the first thing to notice here, especially if you're the entry, he's keeping a good pace from the drone, but it's close enough that if there is information, he can act upon that information. But if you're noticing, he's paying attention to where he's weak against, right? The drone can see up the stairs. He's not concerned about that. We have a Zofia over here who's either droning in here or has eyes in there. Maybe they have a drone, and we can assume that there's probably a drone on the bar side, right? So all he's focusing on is this door in case someone swings it. So always be aware of like the angles that you're walking into and what you're vulnerable against that the drone can't see. See, he's back to the door until it's time. Always keeping ADS. I see a lot of T3 people walking un-ADS. For the most part, he's ADSing. Ready for the gunfight. So, I'm not sure if the drone here just hadn't had the angle on him yet, but again, he assumes that the drone can see over there. Luckily, they either didn't have a clean shot on him or they just whiffed, and he's watching his weak spot again. Alright, and so, number one, look at this drone. It survived, right? That's the biggest rule about droning, is keep your drone alive. So not only did this guy not run into 2 Mozzie pests, but he just survived being shot at, right? So this guy who's droning is phenomenal, okay? Secondly, the drone is still alive, but there was contact right here, and you can see he's getting aggressive. A lot of the T3 players, something like this will happen, and they're either sit on the wall and hold an angle, like on the little metal sheet right there, or they're going to wait until this drone goes in there and gets info, right? So by the time the drone gets info, this guy is so far behind that they don't even get a chance to act upon that info and get the kill. So two huge things happening right here between these two. ADS, ready for the fight. And then, so you notice right here, he pre-fired. They know that this guy didn't go in the bathroom here because of the drone. So they know it's either going to be Logi or it's going to be main, or he ran off towards the hallway, which is the most unlikely, because if that guy runs over here, he's going to be trapped and boxed in. So that's most likely not going to happen. And then same thing with Logi. If they run in there, they're trapped and boxed in. So the most common sense place that he would run would be down the stairs. But if you're, like we're talking about, he's always got his ADS up when it needs to be, and he's also always watching like where he expects them to be, ready for that gunfight, pre-firing when he comes around the corner. That's a lot of a big problem as well with the T3 players, is they like where they expect someone to be, they're trying to be too stealthy. Instead of taking the gunfight, when you come around and you expect someone to be there, you should just pre-fire it. Like, there's no point. That's a rank mentality where you're trying to stealth around and wait until you see them for the gunfight. Like, just expect them to be there. If you pre-fire, you're more likely to win than waiting until you actually physically see them. So again, we're thinking, like we said, most likely place that this person's going to be if they haven't completely ran away is the stairs. He pre-fires it, and just like we talked about, he expects someone to be there. He pre-fires it. He wins the gunfight immediately. He didn't wait until he had vision to shoot. He was already shooting as he came around the corner and got that kill. And we can note again that this droner didn't run into the mute here. So this guy is doing such a good job. Both of them. Next step here, which I see a lot of T3 players do. We'll find out on T2 players once Challenger League starts and we start watching that. But notice that he's out of bullets. He killed that drone so the drone can continue with his secondary. And then he runs in here, which is a safe box that they know no one can come around and shoot him. And he's reloading safely here. Then he's going to go back out. Too many times I see T3 players standing in the wide open reloading. It's crazy. And then they get mad when people swing them and kill them. ADS. So he sees that there's tracers. He just pre-fires. He doesn't wait to see what's there. He just pre-fires it. And now look again. He's waiting for the drone to go forward before he pushes forward. Behind cover again while he reloads. See his pacing on this drone? Alright, and then this is the next thing. So I've talked about in other videos that there are phases to attack. So they've gotten 2 picks, which is huge. A lot of teams, when I see this, they get very aggressive and start throwing the round. So they got 2 big picks early in the round, right? They took all the territory up top, cleared all of top, come down main here, and now you can see they're all controlling first floor. Now, a lot of times I'll see T3 players start going straight down main here. So especially with entries, I tell people that entries, your job is to entry, and then after the first initial entry, like just in the phases of attack, his job right now is done. Like, he doesn't need to continue pushing further. So what he's going to do, which we already saw, is he's going to come in here and he's going to start opening vertical. He's not looking for kills right now. He's doing his next job, which is vertical in this case. Too many times do I see the T3 like entries think that your only job is getting kills. Like, they never do anything else. So now we see him doing his next job, which is the next part of the the next phase of the attack. And then right now, after he blows this, we're going to see him hop on his drone. I've talked with so many entries in T3, and this is the next big problem, is that once T3 entries for the most part only understand gunning. They think that their only job is to go get kills, and that's just not the case. In this case, he got his 2 picks. They're 5v3. They have a minute 18 going for them. They have a lot of They got 1 drone. So they got 4 drones, a lot of utility left. They got everything working in their favor. There's no need to rush into what's going on right now. The other big problem I see with T3 teams in general, and we'll see about T2 here soon, is that they spend a lot of time holding their guns at an angle. So this is what we're talking about, breaking down attack into phases. He did his job. He got his entries, right? And then he did his breaching or vertical in the kitchen. Now he's sitting, he's chilling, and he's droning. While he's droning, the other players like the Mav or the Ace, they can be doing their jobs now, which is opening hatches, blah, 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 whatever they got to do. And then when it's time to execute and move into the next phase, that's when he's back to being an entry. But right now, he may watch flank drones, he may drone out sight to see what's going on so that they know what utility they got to deal with. So a lot of people don't understand that even though you're an entry, you still have to drone yourself, right? That just because you're an entry and you get kills doesn't mean there's no droning for you. His whole job has been complete. Now his job is to drone while the other players do their job. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. It's crazy to me that it takes so much effort to explain this to people. So I'm so glad that I saw this round. I'm so glad that we get to go through this. And the other thing that I want to talk about, which I talked about in the I don't know, success for team or whatever the video that I made the other day about team success. I talked about being positive, hyping people up when they do a good job. I hope that in the comms, that they're hyping up this Ash for his entry, right? Because he paced on that drone really good. He pre-fired. He did everything like phenomenal, right? And then whoever was droning him, I hope they're hyping that person up because that droning was unbelievable, right? And when we talked about support players really get the shaft in this game, nobody values them as much as they should. Whoever that was droning in this case was like, no one can argue that was such a good droning job, right? So I just wanted to go through this, break this down, show you guys what kind of stuff you should be looking for as a droner, as an entry, and especially as an entry because like we talked about, always be aware of the angles that you're vulnerable against. Pace yourself on the drone when they call it's clear. Always say, I'd say 2 to 3 seconds behind or until they've, like when they went into construction, he waited until construction was clear and they probably called clear and then that's when he pushed in, right? So take what's free when it's called, watch your angles that you're vulnerable against, and once your job is complete, start moving on to the next phase, which in his case was vertical, and then hopping on possible flank drones or droning sight to get intel, right? Those are the big things. I hope this helps a lot of people in T3, especially the supports and the entries, because like I said, in my opinion, from what I've found, it's pretty hard to find good resources for this kind of thing, so really happy I got to see it. Thanks for your time.